Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. Afloat, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Giving your breaking daily updates related to the Sebastian Rogers case. This is going to blow your mind, guys. I've been personally covering the case of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, came out and told their stories in this interview about what transpired related to the disappearance of their 15-year-old son. Katie, Sebastian's mother, describes the day before he disappeared, Sunday, February 25th. They went to BJ's, he got a colossal popcorn, he was just a very happy, jovial young man, and they came home, put some snacks away, and then they went to a local bowling alley, and next to the bowling alley was a steakhouse where they ate. After they ate, they loaded up and went home. He took out the garbage, and the rest is history. He goes to bed at 9 p.m., Mom goes to bed at midnight, she awakes at 6 a.m. to wake Sebastian up as she normally does, and he's gone. Christopher Proudfoot states that he was not even in the area at the time that Sebastian left the home, that he was many miles away as he was working in Memphis and staying in his camper in Mississippi. A lot of people watching this case unfold became very, very skeptical of both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot's story about what happened leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. Many people noticed the deep abrasion scratches in some areas looking like bite marks on Christopher Proudfoot's arms some 8 days after Sebastian disappeared. Seth Rogers, which is Sebastian's biological father, decided to start doing some ground searches and raised money on a GoFundMe page to aid those efforts. Christopher Proudfoot threatened Sebastian's father in a lawsuit related to the GoFundMe page, and also the fact that Seth appeared to make the family, the other side of the family, look bad. Many people went out searching for Sebastian Rogers, and the one thing that was missing out of all the efforts volunteers put forth was Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. And when people asked them why they weren't out searching for their very son that went missing from their home, they told people that it was because law enforcement told them to stay home. However, that very evening, they were seen at a barbecue joint outside of the home enjoying a dinner. Meanwhile, never once searching for their very son that they say they care about and want to come home. Media was in an uproar, demanding answers from both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot why they're not helping with any searches for their son. And what was their response? They got in their camper, packed it up, and took off. Sebastian's mom and stepfather took off to a campground in Mississippi, where they returned home for a short while and then returned back to this campground. Right now, it appears that the camper is still at this mobile home park or RV park with Chris's truck, but we have confirmed Chris is not staying there and has installed a camera on the camper. There are so many people curious as to why there's a camera on this camper, but not on their home before Sebastian Rogers walked out that door. The sheriff was very cordial at the beginning of this search for Sebastian when he truly believed both Katie and Chris Proudfoot were deemed innocent and had no culpability in the disappearance of their son. If you look at the newest interview Nick Barris has with this very sheriff, you see a much different demeanor. Does this case anger me? You darn right. Does it make me want to almost lose my mind? You darn tootin'. Chris and Katie have a lot of explaining to do, because what I just laid out for you is only a minor, small amount of the case against them.
Earlier today, we spoke to the partner of the two children's mother. Here's some of what he had to say about Jack and Lily.
Awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can. Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, and anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister.
He says he's also hoping police monitor the New Brunswick border and the airports for any sign of the two children. But RCMP tell us this afternoon they're not considering any possible abduction here. As far as they're concerned, they're looking for two young children who simply wandered away.
I know that there's a lot of people pulling for these kids to come home.
Disturbing new details about the two siblings missing from Nova Scotia are being realized today. The Nova Scotia siblings, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, disappeared on May 2nd around 10 a.m. in the morning. And since then, a lot of people have speculated wildly, and some, in my opinion, are on target. We learned that there may have been a house party at their house in or around the time the kids disappeared. This changes what direction this case goes. The mounted police in Canada also stated that they have 35 individuals that they have identified for formal interview. And now these messages are becoming well known. And now we're starting to see the substances inside the home. check it out. We're going to have a lot more to say about these text messages that are now making their rounds on social media. We've got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned to the Bullhorn Betty channel. And do me a favor, don't forget to heart this video. God bless you. Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans here on YouTube. It is lovely to see all of you. We have so many people inside the chat already this morning. TGIF, TGIF, TGIF. We made it to the weekend. I got a lot of stuff I've got to get done today. For Fat Lips to shut her attorney's pie hole up. We got to get some stuff in today. Blah. So I'll be working on that. Guys, it is great to see you this beautiful Friday morning. I've been outside. It's a beautiful day. It's going to get really hot by the afternoon, though. But I was enjoying my morning. I would say my cup of coffee, but I woke up too late to get a cup of coffee. So I had this morning a can of Coke. Zero free, Coke. And that was my coffee this morning. Holy smokes, y'all. We've got a lineup. If you guys are not familiar with who I am, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. I travel all over this country, and we try to get to the truth of these cases. It's nice to see you, Melanie. Good morning. Lisa be always up in the house. It's nice to see you, Kimberly. Thank you for being here. Bullhorn Betty is present. We got Frank, Little Orange Man. It's nice to see you. Beth, it's nice to see you as well. Looky, Brown Chicken. It's nice to see you. I hope you are doing well. A blast from the past there. It's nice to see you. Dollface, I love that. Lakeith, it's nice to see you. The real me too is up in the house with her bells on. Hello, my love. Hello. Dawn, it's nice to see you. Deanna, Heather, good morning. Stephanie, it's nice to see you. Tracy, it's me, Jen. Pussy Willow Cat, it's nice to see you. Hello, my love. Butterfly Kisses, Chas D, Lisa Ann, it's nice to have you up in the chat. Happy Gal Brenda, always bringing a smile. Linda, it's nice to see you. It's me being me. Hello, my love. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're being you. Elizabeth, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Donna. It's nice to see you. Monica, hey, love. I hope you're doing well. I got time today. Gigi, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Sonia is up in the house. Patty Allen, good morning. Heather, good morning. Who else do we have up in the house? Eeyore's Blues. Angela, good morning. It's nice to see you, my love. Passion Flower, good morning. West Virginia Holler Girl, just another patriot up this beautiful morning. It's nice to see you. Jill, bonjour. It's nice to see you this beautiful morning. PB Green Room, it's nice to see you as well. Phil, good morning. Gypsy's up in the house. It's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you and your husband are doing well. Who else do we have? I know somebody. Patty, good morning. Princess Jasmina, it's nice to see you. Patty Lee, good morning. Hello. I said hi to Stephanie. Tina, it's good morning to you. Kathleen, good morning. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. God bless you for that. Thank you so much. Shauna, it's nice to see you. Mitzi, good morning. Brenda Sue, good morning. Linda, it's nice to have you up in the house. Twitch Andrea, it's nice to have you. Good morning, love bug. Judy, it's nice to see you. M. Blunk. I wanted to give a big shout out. Medic Biker is doing better. I got an update from Medic Biker, doing much better. So very thankful for that. Keep the prayers going. Keep the prayers going for our beautiful friend Melanie up in the chat. Just always be praying for the people that are struggling. Rebecca, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I think we got just about everybody. Karen, it's nice to see you. If anybody doesn't know, Connie Branch is no longer with us, and her sister Karen uses her I guess channel or her account. Taurus, Shannon, it's nice to see you. SRK is up in the house. It's nice to see you, my friend. Panda Bear's mom, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Cheryl, Sissy, Autistic Awareness Grandmother, it's nice to see you. BMW Coop, good morning. Marion, good morning. True Crime Junkie, Miss Holly, it's nice to see you all. Cheryl, good morning. Good morning. Oh, Patty, thank you. Gifted a super chat. Good morning, Betty. Well, good morning to you. Thank you for that. Archaholics up in the chat. Mama, it's nice to see you. Patty Allen, I think I said hi to you already. Kelly, good morning. I think I got just about everybody, but Mike, good morning. Mama Dukes, nice to see you. Truth in Time, good morning. It's nice to see you as well. Jackie Blue, good morning. Good morning to you. Me and you, it's nice to see you. Oh, Dublin, good morning, love. Tress, it's nice to see you. Or maybe it might be Treese. I don't know. Oh, there's SPED teacher. Good morning, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Aw, and Nani McPoppins, 31 months. God bless you. God bless you, putting up with my bullshit all that time. Good gracious, what's wrong with you? It's nice to see you all. Let's see, where are we? Tammy, it's nice to see you. Just Jen, just is. It's nice to see you. Misty Blue, good morning. It's nice to have you. Rusty Pipes, good morning. Quantum, it's nice to see you. I think I got everybody. James, it's nice to see you. Erna, good morning. Oh, is that SRK? Did I see SRK? Why isn't this thing going down any further? Maybe that's it. I just saw something. Here we are. Aw. Just in case. That's so cute. Mama Dukes, it's nice to see you. Thank you for that. And look at that. Gypsy gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships, don't forget to tell Gypsy thank you and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much, Mike. And everybody already knows I'm going to be cussing. I cuss a lot, okay? I cuss a lot. And it's the only time Miss Sonia, our beautiful Miss Sonia, lied. She sent me a shirt that says, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. And she knew I cussed a lot. She was just fibbing. I don't know if that's sacrilegious or not. I'm just saying. All right, so guys, we have some breaking news. If you guys have been with me, hey Amy M, it's good morning to you too. Shauna, see, Sonia knows. She knows. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. I don't like doing it. It just rolls off the tongue. I don't think about it at this point. I'm getting too old to give a darn, you know? Oh, Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. And poor Gypsy is like, hey, I won't pitch in there too. We know you cuss a lot. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership from Melanie or Patty, please tell them thank you. And for those that got your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It's nice to see you all. Strawbirdie says, I'm a new member. We all know Strawbirdie's been around for a while. Thank you. Thank you for the love and the support. You're always family, though. You're always family. So we covered the case of Alec Murdaugh in depth. Like, we went out there, we were behind the gates, we saw where Paul lost his life. Good gracious, I couldn't figure out where where his mom was. And I was looking all over, but I couldn't figure it all out because I didn't have the map of where they were. And I was trying to read, the articles and trying to make heads or tails of what the article says. So even behind the gates, I got some places wrong. But the cool part is we got behind the gates, right? And so we kind of followed this case. We were there at the trial. I was screaming as he was being unloaded from the van to walk into the trial. They definitely did the perp walk, bringing him to the trial and taking him away from the trial. But it was in a small Colton County. He wanted it in the courthouse that basically his family built, and he thought that would give him a leg up, and it didn't. He was convicted, but Becky Hill was the clerk of courts. She was the one running this whole entire murder trial, and Alec's team, and of course we didn't believe it, was saying she was doing improper stuff. And so I didn't believe it. I had a very high regard for Becky Hill from the time I was there at the courthouse. We went to the auction where they auctioned off their entire life. We've just been there, even to the court hearing where he was in front of Justice Toll for retrial on his murder conviction. And I was there when Becky Hill literally looked at a judge in her eyes and lied to her. And me and Neil Gordon, which is the co-author to her book, kind of looked at each other, and I looked at Neil and I said, Neil, she lied. He nodded, he goes, I know she did. And so that was just a wild trial, and I would not have believed Becky did these things had I not been there for the trial, as well as this motion for rehearing of his murder trial, when she was in front of Judge Toll at the South Carolina Supreme Court. We were there as well. So this right here is not really shocking for me because, again, I had high regard for her, but as soon as her son was arrested for wiretapping charges and wiretapping of the government, which his mom works for, I knew no country boy would do that without mama giving him the okay or asking him to do this. Whose birthday is it? It's me, Jen. Is it your birthday tomorrow? Well, happy birthday. Remind me. I'll pull out the hat. We'll sing you a little tune. SPE teacher. I just wanted to say thank you for all you do to spread awareness for the missing. I'm kind of biased, but our Sebastian will never give up on you. Love you all. Thank you. Yeah, we'll never give up on him. I'm biased too. That's why I always got to constantly check myself. That's why even with this new case of Lilly and Jack, I've really got to check myself on this because I know I'm right there with most of you guys. I'm leaning. Oh, today's Miss Amy M's birthday. Well, happy birthday, Amy M. Happy birthday. Let's sing her happy birthday for the people here. Yes, I sing happy birthday. I don't do very well, but you know what? I think I'm a rock star. So we'll sing happy birthday to Amy M. and Denise, happy birthday, Denise birthday twins. Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy, and possibly Denise. Happy birthday to you. birthday kids up in the house. So happy birthday. Happy birthday. I didn't have the hat today. I'm sorry. I didn't have the hat. But Becky Hill, I just didn't. I thought none of us, let's be honest, we watched the trial too. We ran the trial live here on the Bullhorn Betty channel for the Alec Murdaugh case. And I've got to tell you, we did not like Jim Griffin. We did not like Dick Harpootlian. We did not like them. Okay. We trashed them every opportunity we could trash them, So we were already going in there, like SPED teacher was just saying, don't want to be biased. Okay. Well, we were biased. Okay. The Bullhorn Betty channel strolled up in South Carolina saying that they were liars. I was with my head up. Yep. These dirty, rotten defense attorneys. Right? So I had already preconceived that this is just a tactic. Just a tactic. This is just a tactic to get their high power, fall from grace attorney friend out of this mess he got himself into, right? And when they got there and we heard, and we were there for every bit of the trial. I was there for the first part of the trial during voir dire in person. We came back here and followed the trials, the murder trial as well as the financial trial here on this channel. We were there live at the auction, which was a freaking madhouse. And we knew this case inside and out. But I never believed Becky was capable of this. And I said that. I'm like, whoa. We just can't jump to conclusions. Whoa. So let's walk back in time. This right here went viral, this video right here. And it went viral for good reason. I mean, everybody in the family had a freaking headstone except the two people that were murdered. And it really ticked me off. That there was no headstone after all this time for Paul and Maggie. My efforts to try to get Maggie and Paul headstones has worked. I even did a video on it that went viral about this very thing.
This is an embarrassment. That says Murdaugh on it. Where the hell are the Murdaugh family? Why? With all the wealth and money you have, is this acceptable? They deserve a headstone.
It's great to report that they now have proper headstones honoring each of them. I've been following the Murdaugh trial from the beginning and was present at the trial. Alec was ultimately found guilty of 2 counts of homicide in the death of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. Sometimes I feel social media gets a bad name, but situations like this where we affected change that I'm very proud of. So we have that. These are just small little clips. They won't be too much. This one's probably a little bit longer. But this is the one that's interesting. This is behind the gates. This is where we go to find the answers we were looking for. Some of my video editing back in the days was a lot different.
Here we go.
There he is. Mr. Alec Murdaugh.
Alec Murdaugh!
Did you look your son and your wife in their eyes when you did it?
Why did you kill your wife and your
Bullhorn
son?
Betty wants to know, is your grandfather and your father proud of you?
Alex!
Hey guys, so I'm in Low County,
South
country.
Carolina. Right behind
Low
me
country.
is Alec Murdaugh's home here in the country. Right there, right behind me. This is where he murdered his wife and his son, allegedly. He is currently facing charges, multiple charges of fraud, scheming to defraud his clients, scheming to, it's possible that he murdered his own housekeeper that he had for over a couple decades downstairs at another home.
Down
This
the road.
here
This is the dog
the
kennels. Just to
home.
explain where we are, this is the dog kennels. Up the road is the what is known as the Moselle property, and it's where Gloria Satterfield did lose her life. But where I'm pointing at right there is just the dog kennels. Now, when I first approached this case, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I just knew this high-powered attorney was arrested for unaliving his wife and son. And so that's what sparked my curiosity. I had no idea who Alec Murdaugh was. I didn't really know the details of the case. But this was one of those things where I jumped in my car and went straight down to South Carolina. Of course, with my ex, as you heard in the beginning.
That he murdered his wife and son. As you see, here is the home.
Here we go.
We're still trying.
Back there, you go the gated entrance and you drive straight.
And that's the main house?
Yeah, well, that is the house. You can't see it from the road.
Okay.
But these metal gates were just put up after the murders.
Gotcha.
Anybody could have driven in any time.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, it's awfully quiet out here. I'm from Florida. What do you know about the area? How's this affected the community?
Oh, Walterboro, Carleton County, not that much. Hampton County, which is across the river, nobody will talk about it.
Gotcha.
So as you guys can see, no matter who I run across, I'm always, picking their brain, asking them questions, trying to find the lay of the land. I mean, that's really what I'm out there for answers. I'm out there to try to figure stuff out. I didn't know crap about this case. By the time I left this property, I knew a heck of a lot more.
4147, yeah, you're not recording me, I hope.
No, I'm keeping you out.
Okay.
I'm keeping you out. See, I got it going straight, but I've kept you out.
The one thing this man did not want, he was an elderly man, tall. He's a big old guy. He obviously lived there for a really, really, really long time, knows everybody. And his biggest concern was he did not want his wife knowing that he was sneaking on this property. And he wanted me to keep him off camera because of his wife, not anybody else, just his wife.
For purposes of
Yeah, not my wife. She would not help me do this. So.
I just have, I guess, right place at the right time. Because I remember reading the articles, and the wife apparently texted a friend saying something's not right because they were supposed to go to the hospital too.
That's all baloney.
That's all baloney. What did you hear?
Baloney. I happened to talk to one of the nurses that took care of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was on duty Sunday night, 24 hours before the murders. And Alec and Maggie were there in Alameda. When I say Alameda, you know what that means?
No.
Alameda is where the parents live.
Oh, okay.
It's south.
See, he was educating me on this case. Like all the stuff that I thought I knew about this case, I had no idea. Guys, if you guys are just tuning in, we are covering the cases of Sebastian Wayne Rogers as well as the two missing siblings out of Nova Scotia. But because of the breaking news of Becky Hill's arrest on federal charges, we decided to also incorporate the Alec Murdaugh case in this morning's show and go back into time, a little history of the case of Alec Murdaugh before we kick off our show. So if you guys haven't been able to tell, we're going to be here for a little while. So grab yourself something to drink. If you need to use the restroom, nobody will know. Get up and use it.
Barnville.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this area at all.
That's where he drove and spent 15, 20 minutes and then drove back.
Gotcha.
And the nurse said, Alec and Maggie were there. She wasn't afraid to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they even, don't tell anybody, but they,
don't tell anybody.
Randolph, who died 3 days later, wanted Krispy Kreme donuts. You know what those are?
Yes.
Well, there's none in Barnville on a Sunday night. So Alec and Maggie drove all the way across and back. Now, she was a
Kelly,
state
she
trooper.
was the clerk of courts
She was
that
in the
oversaw
state
his
fire
murder
car,
trial.
Yeah.
driving through the back roads. I'm going to be dangerous.
Okay. I'll follow you. What's the worst that can happen? We get a ticket?
Nothing. Like I said, I know the sheriff.
I know the sheriff.
Nice.
I love those kind of people.
This will be your only chance. My wife would kill me if I was doing this.
Don't worry. I never asked your name.
Still don't know the man's
Keeping your
name.
face out of it. I
Anyway,
just
all the rumors
appreciate
about
it.
her being afraid to be with Alec
There it
and
is.
Yeah.
That's where everything happened, right there. Right there. This is behind the gates. This is at the dog kennels. Let me see if I can go back just a little bit more. Yeah.
And I'm keeping your face out of it. I
Anyway,
just
all the rumors
appreciate
about
it.
her being afraid to be with
There it is. Oh,
Alec.
maybe I can get it.
Yeah.
There we go. So there's where everything happened at the Alec Murdaugh house and compound out there on Moselle. Over here, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. That's where Paul was found. He was inside of the, there's like a door there that I would assume that they put their feed and other things that they needed, maybe some shovels or whatever. This is obviously the plane hangar. And then right on the other side of this heavy equipment is where his mother ultimately lost her life. But I was looking out at the tree line thinking she was out there, but later hindsight, she was up here just on the other side of this heavy machinery or heavy equipment, whatever this is, maybe a trailer or whatever. And Paul's truck was still there when we were out there filming.
Wow. Stop right there. I'm going to skip through all this.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No.
There's where everything happened. This area here is what got Alec convicted, because he said he was not in this area, and because of a dog, because of Paul recording just a little snippet. I mean, it was just seconds. You could hear Alec's voice in the background when he said he was not there. And so that was the reasoning behind them being able to convict him. So here's where everything starts coming undone after the trial. The clerk of hold on. Alec Murdaugh's defense team is claiming that the clerk of court, Rebecca Hill, tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Alec's testimony and other evidence, that Ms. Hill pressured them to reach a quick verdict and misrepresented critical and material information to the trial judge in an alleged effort to toss a jury she felt would favor the defense. The defense believes Ms. Hill betrayed her oath of office for a book deal, money, and fame. In the motion, the defense argues Ms. Hill advised the jurors not to be misled by the evidence presented by the defense or fooled by Alex or his testimony. According to the defense, Ms. Hill had frequent private conversations with the jury foreperson. Most alarming, defense is alleging the clerk of courts actually asked jurors for their opinion during the trial. In fact, they are claiming Ms. Hill actually faked the entire Facebook post hoax to toss a juror and failed to allow the jury smoke breaks during deliberation, which forced the jurors to come back with a quick not guilty verdict. So what are your thoughts on all of this information? There was a 65-page motion for new trial authored by Alec Murdaugh's defense team. Now, this is a lot of information to digest. And I have to be honest, some of the information in the affidavits are questionable. How is this going to play out? I'm interested in your thoughts, and please consider visiting me on my YouTube. So as you guys could see, there were some things, and I wasn't really buying it. I have to be honest with you. I really wasn't buying it at the time. I did not believe it myself. I was like, wait a minute, this is a, dirty, rotten defense attorneys, everything. Let's hold up. But as soon as her son was arrested for the wiretapping, I knew, wait a minute, she's got a facade. She's got a facade. So here we go. Let's listen to this, and then we'll get over to the news, and we'll get moving.
The allegations in the petition filed today speak for themselves. We request that SWED stand down, since they are heavily invested in maintaining Alex's convictions.
Bullhorn Betty here. I just got done running a live on my Bullhorn Betty YouTube channel just a few minutes ago. We just got done doing a live on Alex Murdaugh. If you guys recall, Alex Murdaugh is serving 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole in connection with the murder of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. What do you think about these new allegations against the clerk of court? Do you think that this is possible all over a book deal? Check this video out. This is the press conference Alex Murdaugh's defense counsel put on today.
Today, Jim Griffin and I filed a petition based on newly discovered evidence with the South Carolina Court of Appeals to stay Alex Murdaugh's appeal while a hearing is held on a motion for a new trial. Concurrently, we've sent a request to the South Carolina U.S. Attorney to open a federal investigation into the violation of Alex Murdaugh's civil rights. The allegations in the petition filed today speak for themselves, but we believe they explain a number of peculiarities in the 6-week trial. Alex Murdaugh maintains his innocence in the murder of Maggie and Paul and believes the truth will ultimately prevail.
Jurors must be free from outside influences and must decide the case solely on the evidence presented in the courtroom, subject to the rules of evidence, subject to the rules of the court, and most importantly, subject to the crucible of cross-examination that's guaranteed by the 6th Amendment to the Constitution. Where there is a private communication of a court official to members of the jury, an occurrence which cannot be tolerated if the sanctity of the jury system is to be maintained. What we had filed today is that the clerk of court had improper private communications with the jurors, and the subject matter of those communications was the credibility of the defense, and it was the believability of the defendant's own testimony. When we considered what factors and what we should and should not do and considered whether he should take the stand, that the clerk of court would go in to the sanctity of the jury room before he testified and tell the jurors, don't be fooled by his testimony, watch out for his body language, and if that is true, there's no choice but the courts to grant a new trial.
So there you guys have it. That is kind of the whole case in a nutshell. And right now, that federal suit that Dick Harpootlian was discussing that was requested to be opened clearly was opened, because now we have a clerk of courts that has stepped down and has now been officially arrested on federal charges. And so I'll read actually, we'll see this. Well, it'll have a commercial and it'll save me some time of reading this entire article. So just stay tuned.
If you're a woman over 50 and you want to lose weight, you should listen to this. This is how to get in shape.
Breaking news this afternoon, former Colleton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill has been arrested on multiple charges. Hill was in bond court just a short time ago. She is facing 2 counts of misconduct in office and 1 count of obstruction of justice in Colleton County. Authorities tell us she's also facing 1 charge of perjury in Richland County. You may remember she was clerk of court in the double murder trial of Alex Murdaugh's. She is facing dozens of ethics violations in connection with the trial. After the hearing, Alex Murdaugh's defense team released a statement saying, "We have long raised our concerns about her conduct during and after the trial, and this arrest further underscores the need to protect the integrity of the judicial process." You can read more about this case on WYFF4.com.
So now you guys have it. You guys have an update on what happened in the Alex Murdaugh case. The reason why we're covering it is because this is a case that we've covered literally from the very beginning. We have video, we did a lot in the case of Alex Murdaugh, and Is this it? Okay, so we've got two other quick little things to go over. One's kind of cool, one's not so cool. This is about a 3-year-old. It was sent to me by our moderator, the Real Me Too. This is happening kind of in her area. And this is of a 3-year-old child believed to be in extreme danger. Extreme danger. The name of this child is Leilani Elliott, and believes to be in an unsupervised person's custody. Now, when I read about this case, I learned that the person that is involved in this case might be a family member, potentially the non-custodial parent. But either way, I wanted you guys to see this at the request of one of our moderators and to bring awareness to this 3-year-old child. This is out of Georgia.
With breaking news, a statewide Amber Alert is now active for a missing 3-year-old girl in Savannah. Leilani Elliott was last seen this morning during a supervised visit on Wheaton Street. WJCL 22 News' Tia Maggio is live on Wheaton Street. That's where active searches are underway.
Yes, and Tia, you have surveillance images just released by authorities.
Yeah, Brooke Riley, the GBI has released photos showing Leilani and Jesse Elliott last seen at this yellow home that you see behind me. Now take a look for yourself of these surveillance photos that came into our newsroom showing the moment Jesse Elliott was seen leaving Wheaton Street with the child. And investigators say this was supposed to be a supervised visit, but she took the 3-year-old without permission. And they were last seen walking towards East Broad Street around 10:45 this morning. I have spoke with SPD, who says they are following a few leads, but this is still a very active search, and they're looking all over Savannah for this child. Of course, this is a developing story, so we're going to bring you any updates on air and online at WJCL.com. But for now,
this has got an extreme danger alert attached to it. Extreme danger alert attached to it. So I don't know what this mom has done. I don't know what she has threatened. I don't know anything, but they have an extreme, they may just be trying to enhance it so they can find this child quicker. I don't know. But some parents, like we just got off that, I can't remember the girl's name. Her father unalived her in an abandoned house after R-ing her. So we can't, just assume that just because these children are with a family member that, is not supposed to have custody of them, takes off with them. We can't assume that it's just because they miss them anymore. We have to assume that they are in extreme danger. There's a reason why the department, she was found. Somebody's saying she was found, and I'm hoping she's found safe. She was found safe, thank God. Okay, I appreciate that. Now, this story here is a little freaky. I don't know how to feel about this. Next story. It's just going to be a little snippet, and then we'll dive into the Sebastian Rogers case. But many of you guys know the TV series Cops. If you are my age, there's no way you've never seen an episode of Cops, right? So Cops series, they've been going on for a while, but they stopped making, cop updates, I guess, for some time, but they made their, I think they came back at some point in time. I don't know. I can't remember if they went off air for a little while and then came back, or if they have been continuous during the entire time. But either way, about 2020, they the Paramount Network pulled the show in response to George Floyd protests following the murder while under arrest in Minneapolis Police Department, and announced the cancellation days later. The show remains in production in its international and overseas partners, but they're picking up a new season. September 2021, they announced Fox sibling Fox Nation picked up the show for the 34th season and premiered it September 2022. So now we're in the 37th season, and they are follow. I know. Well, they're back. And I don't know how to feel about this because, in all fairness, they're in Manatee County. They're with my people. They're with my sheriff. I don't know how I feel about that. That we have, enough crime that we can be followed by cops. So again, I'm not. I think it's kind of cool in all fairness, but I'm not liking that we have enough crime in my county that we got the attention of cops. So I'm very interested in our cop debut here in Manatee County Sheriff's Department. But either way,
soon to a
Kim no, what is it? It's gosh, I can never say her name. I've known her for years. Something. Anyways, here she is telling you all about it.
TV near you. You'll be able to get a behind the scenes look of what Manatee County deputies experience on a daily basis. For the last 8 weeks, the long running show Cops has been riding along with Manatee County deputies, and they'll be on their 38th season premiering next spring. But Cops made sure to go out with every single one of their units, from their agriculture unit to their marine unit to patrol. So this is really a behind the scenes look of what these deputies encounter every single day. To find out more, you can visit our website at fox13news.com or download the Fox Local app.
So there you go. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm feeling some type of way. Like, what? I remember when Cops came out. I remember there's no way they're coming into my small county, because you got to remember, this is back in the 90s. Even though I was born at the end of 79, at the 70s, I was basically an 80s baby. And this was out in the 90s, so I grew up on it. I was 10 years old when it first came out, right? And so our little town had, we had people, like, the crime in our town at that time was people sneaking on to people's property to shoot, wildlife, to get bears and deer, and that was to the and people driving a little bit with a little too much sauce, that was pretty much the extent to our criminal problems here in this county. We didn't have anything that ever remotely rose to the level of being an interest for cops, for the show Cops. So anyways, there was a unaliving yesterday or the day before yesterday in Gallatin, and I didn't understand. Some people were reaching out to me to talk to me about it. I didn't understand what was going on, but I did find the article about it and figured, since people were talking about it, I would read it to all of you guys so you guys know what was going on. A 30-year-old man was shot and unalived at a park in Gallatin Wednesday night. Officers were called out to Lock 4 Park near the second boat launch ramp at 11:15 p.m. According to Gallatin police, officer arrived to find 30-year-old Miles Hanna unalive from gunshot wounds. Investigators believe Hannah got into a verbal fight with a 24-year-old Will Wheatley that escalated into the pew-pewing. Wheatley was taken into custody and charged with manslaughter. If you have any information or know these people, please reach out to 615-452-1313. So just wanted to give you guys a little update on what was going on. If you guys don't realize, we are now officially gearing up to speak about the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was a 15-year-old boy that has recently turned 16 in December. I guess it's not recently anymore, as we're in the middle of May. But he was 15 years old when he disappeared from his home on February 25th, 2024, from the Hendersonville, Stafford Court area of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and was reported missing on February 26th by his mother. We learned of this case, we learned about Sebastian Rogers, and we learned details. So some of these surprising details is that he was last seen by any third party on Sunday evening at the Texas Roadhouse. According to his mother, on Sunday, they woke up, had a breakfast. She made a fun breakfast. If you don't know what that is, I would say Google it, y'all, but I'll just explain it to you. It's basically a funnel cake type of pancake. From my understanding, it's a funnel cake type of pancake. Anyways, according to the mother and the stepfather, he was really happy that he had breakfast that morning and wanted to call family and brag. Around 11 o'clock ish, somewhere abouts, again, this is all from the mom and the stepdad. Thank you, Patty. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Buddy membership. For those who received your Bullhorn Buddy membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. And so they said they left about 11-ish, somewhere around there, to head off to BJ's, which is a Whole Foods type of store, like a Sam's Club or a Costco's or something. Maybe you guys understand what that is. That's what a BJ's wholesale is. It's something similar. So they went there. Allegedly, she picked up a niece, met Chris's sisters, as well as Sebastian was with them at BJ's, where they got some snacks. And I'd have to assume the reason why they only got snacks from BJ's instead of groceries is because it is understood that Katie was also at Costco's the day before on Saturday, and that's where the optimism photo of Sebastian came from the food court at the Costco's on Saturday the 24th. But that's as much information as we have on what they did on the 24th of February. Oh, thank you, Patty, for the super sticker. God bless you. I appreciate all the love and support. I appreciate all the love and support. So we started hearing and listening to the interviews of the mom and the stepdad, and there were some things that weren't making sense to us on the face. And I think the first thing is the body language. I think, when we first heard it, most of us did not hear the Duchess, the very first interview that they gave, which was on the Duchess. None of us knew that even existed. At least for me, I didn't know it existed. My very first interview that I previewed related to Chris and Katie was what we dubbed the green shirt interview. That was the WSMV interview with Holly Thompson. And so I think with that one, that being our first introduction into what potentially could have happened to Sebastian Rogers, it was the behavior that didn't make sense at that interview. For example, we learned we observed very clearly that the mom and stepdad weren't consoling each other. I think that was the biggest situation for me to overcome when I first watched that. It really wasn't what they were saying, because I didn't really know what they were saying, whether there was truth to it, whether they were lying through their teeth or anything like that. All I could really go on is their behavior. And so I noticed that the mom was speaking so very matter-of-factly. She wasn't very emotional. And the reason why this is so important to me is because I've been around so many parents that have lost their children. Not that their children have passed away, just that their children were lost. I've been a part of a lot of different searches for a lot of different missing people. And so I've observed parents when they're searching for their children, and I see the fear and the concern and the urgency that they have to find their child. And if I could say, I've been at least at over my career, at least at 50 different searches. That might be right about. That wouldn't be exaggerating or anything like that. I've searched physically for about 50 people over the last, I would say, I don't know, decade. So it's, even though we've been on here, we have been party to other searches in the area and in the community and in other places as well. So I've seen and witnessed people missing people, not even the news of deceased, just missing. And so that was the first thing that got me was the the lack of them being consoling to one another. That was the very first impression that I had related to this. So I started paying attention because that right there just kind of didn't sit right with me. And I remember saying publicly when we started diving into this case that that I hope I'm not right. I hope I'm not right. You know, I don't want to think parents could do this to their child. I hope I'm not right. But when you start seeing a bunch of different, I guess we could call them red flags, but it's something a little more than that. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a little more than red flags. But once you start hearing these cues, when you start hearing these cues, you start getting and start feeling some type of way about the situation. And I think that's what was going on. So we started paying attention. And then came the Smiley's Story World interview. And I really think that that interview, because the other interviews they had, they were light, they weren't really tough questions, they weren't to me they were soft. Okay, that's I don't know how to explain it other than that. I think maybe some of you guys might agree with me, maybe some of you guys may not agree with me, and that's okay. But for me, it seemed like all the interviews that they had were very soft. They weren't, people weren't asking the right questions, they weren't challenging you know, Chris or Katie on any answers that they provided, just to kind of see where they stood and see how they moved. But when we got to the Smiley Stories World interview in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, I think that that's when we really started getting clarity about Sebastian's case. Did I just kick my, I think I just kicked my, I didn't mean to, but I think I kicked, hold on just a second. All I was doing is changing the background so we can see Sebastian's face. So long story short, I can't remember where I was just at with the whole story, but we started looking into their statements and we started noticing that they weren't saying the same things over and over again, like a story. I mean, take me, for example, okay? Go to all of my videos of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. What was one of the things that I did almost every time that we started the show? We gave the Reader's Digest version of the case. There was very little that's ever changed from that Reader's Digest version of the case. Remember, I come here, we're here for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. A little detail of the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is that he disappeared from his home on, and at this time we were saying February 26, 2024, and hasn't been seen or heard. He was inside his locked home with allegedly only his mother. That whole spiel, right? You guys remember that. But you notice that it never changed. Why did it not change? You know, maybe I added, you know, military trained parents in there every now and again or something like that. But the information never changed. Why? Because that's how I understand it. That's the truth of Bullhorn Betty. So every time I open this, I don't add additional stuff that I didn't have there unless I'm just providing like military trained or giving some more context to the information. And so when we start hearing parents going on and talking about the same thing, but saying it wildly different every time, it's something that we do pay attention to. Linda says, I think Betty is the only one that shows Sebastian's flyer face in the background now. It's sad. Aw, yeah, I like to have his face up. I like to have all their faces up. Even when I talk to Lily and Jack, it's just that I haven't uploaded a screen for them yet. So, you know, that's kind of why they don't. But if we're talking about a case, one of the main reasons why we do what we do is to advocate for them. If we don't have their face up, then what's the point of the avocation? Because no matter what our talking point is on the show, it truly is that at the end of the day, the name of the game is avocation, making sure his name and his face are in the it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We could be talking about, the last time he went to a park. It doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, whatever our talking point is, it's to advocate, it's to keep a face and a name in the algorithm and in the spotlight. So that's why I always do it. That's how I feel anyways. So since we haven't talked about this case, and there are some weird, weird things involved in this case, such as a 2.5 hour or 3 hour conversation. The time that Katie went to bed, that has changed. We were told for an entire year that she went to bed at midnight, obviously asleep at midnight. I mean, it was pounded into our blessed heads. And then we hear a Dateline interview, and then we hear that she's going to bed at 11 in the Dateline interview. And we're like, wait a minute, all of this stuff keeps happening when it comes to Chris and Katie, and only Chris and Katie. Seth's story hasn't changed. Where he's been hasn't changed. Producing the records hasn't been a problem for Seth Rogers. Why is it such a problem for the mom and the stepfather that are out here saying, ask me the tough questions. Ask me the tough questions. I want the tough questions. Right? I took my polygraph. Then on the Nancy Grace, did you guys take a polygraph? Oh, hold on. Let me be Nancy Grace. Did you guys take a polygraph? Well, I did, Katie says. Well, I didn't, Chris says. After we were told for months he took a polygraph and passed the polygraph, and they were all cleared of any wrongdoing. All clear of any wrongdoing. So we started seeing those red flags we don't like to see in missing person cases. Parents not showing emotion, having a script-like effect, no consoling, no urgency, and then you start putting that, and then you have their behavior to boot, and the fact that we started digging in a little bit more and finding out the very first thing Chris had ever done when he found out that his stepson was missing and arrived at the house was to immediately go out there to the news crews and tell him to turn the camera off of his home. That to me is weird behavior. Weird behavior. I've never met somebody that acts that way and thinks that that's normal. He doesn't even give a crap whether it's normal or not. He's in the mentality of protecting his family. And it's not from people like me, even though that's what they want you to believe. It's because they have something to hide, in my opinion, which I'm entitled to, as clearly the grand jury has spoken. So I've been watching this one channel on Facebook, really kind of like it. I'm actually watching and monitoring their post for Lilly and Jack Sullivan as well, and it's CBA News. And here's a statement that I found that they had made, and I thought it was important enough to bring it up, and then we'll get over to any updates that we have on Lilly and Jack Sullivan, the missing siblings out of Nova Scotia. The disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. Why does his stepfamily seem so indifferent? Sebastian Rogers, a young boy who vanished without a trace, remains missing to this day, and questions about the behavior of his stepfamily, particularly Kathy Bowersox and her son, Chris Proudfoot, continue to stir public concern. Since the beginning, many have noticed the apparent lack of involvement from the Bowersox family. They are the step-grandparents of Sebastian, yet they have not publicly expressed affection or concern for him. There has been no reward offered by them for Sebastian's safe return, and no active participation in the search efforts, prompting speculation about how deeply they truly care. Worse, a controversial Facebook post made by Kathy Bowersox recently ignited public outrage. In the post, she repeatedly referred to Sebastian as this child, never mentioning him by his name. For many, this seemed cold and detached, almost as if she couldn't bring herself to say Sebastian. In her post, Kathy lashed out at critics who questioned her alibi at the time Sebastian's disappearance. You're an exact type of people that are keeping this child from being located. You want to spew lies about people to fit your small-minded narrative. If you can provide credible witnesses that claim they saw me at Worsham's, then do it. Otherwise, shut up. By the way, for the last time, my location is known, and it was not at Worsham's. Observers noted that this was one of the only times Kathy had engaged so emotionally online, suggesting that questions about her whereabouts may strike a nerve. Meanwhile, disturbing claims have emerged from Nina Proudfoot, the ex-wife of Chris Proudfoot, who has provided troubling insight into the dynamic within the Proudfoot and the Bowersox families. According to her, families' behavior behind closed doors paints a starkly different picture than what they presented publicly. Some now wonder whether the family had long been seeking a way to remove Sebastian from the home. Was there a plan to place him with someone else, like a half-brother? Like his half-brother Seth. I don't know where the Seth came from. He doesn't have a half-brother to the best of my knowledge. He has a half-sister. And if so, did something go horribly wrong? To date, there is no confirmed sighting of Sebastian, no solid leads, and no official suspects. But the lack of warmth or urgency from certain family members, coupled with defensive online behavior, continues to raise red flags. Sebastian Rogers didn't just walk out of his home and disappear. Someone, somewhere, knows what happened to him. And until there are real answers, the public refuses to stay silent. Sebastian has a name, and it's not this child. He deserves to be found, and those who truly care must never stop saying his name or searching for the truth. Say his name, Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers, Sebastian Rogers, Sebastian Rogers. We're going to be getting into, we got a couple little things here, I think, on Sebastian's case. So let me go over here. Sebastian, we went over the history. His home life after the fact, we've been in this case now for well over 14 months, and we have learned his home life was tattered. It was shattered. The mom and the stepdad have been trying to rehome Sebastian all the way back to October of 2022, shortly after them coming into or moving into their new home there on Stafford Court. His school life, from everything that his teachers have told us, is he was a very happy kid in school. They loved him. They loved being around him. They talk of him having a bright personality and always happy. And then we have the custody between Katie and Seth. And it sounded like, for all intents purposes, prior to his disappearance, they were working well together and dividing custody appropriately and doing their own thing and staying out of their parenting way, so to speak. Seth had described, he never called on Katie's weekends to speak to his son because he didn't want to disrupt anything that they were doing. And likewise, whenever Sebastian was at his house, Katie never called to check on Sebastian while it was his weekend. So, everything seemed to be okay. And when they approached Seth in 2022 and Seth wasn't really ready for Sebastian, there were things that needed to be put in place, like his therapy, as well as how they were going to transition him into school, because he has autism and a chromosome deletion syndrome that, he needs stability, he needs routine. And so he started working immediately on getting Sebastian into his home, into his custody. And that's where they were going, because when they realized Seth was not right prepared right then and there for Sebastian. They started looking at places to put Sebastian. They tried to start looking at, possible schools and places that he could live outside of their home. But because of the cost of these programs, they opted to wait until Seth got things organized and settled, which he worked on for 14 months. And right when he was about to get his son, that's when his son disappeared. Then we learn about Christopher Proudfoot, the stepfather of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And we started noticing how controlling he was, how brash and nasty he could be just at the drop of a dime. And we started getting a very good idea of the type of temperament that Christopher Proudfoot has. And we started applying that temperament to what we know needs to be the temperament in and around autistic children. You need to be warm, you need to be understanding, and we realized very quickly that it appeared to us that Chris was trying to discipline Sebastian into normalcy. He could do it if he just tried, right? That seemed to be the mentality and the temperament of Chris, but it wasn't just Chris, it was his entire family. Since the day Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared, his entire family has made some questionable public statements about Sebastian. For example, Terry Bowersox was talking about his mentality and if he could keep his concentration. It really depended about the squirrels in the yard. I mean, just very, very disgusting statements of a missing boy. And it just really started painting a picture that nobody on Chris's side of the family really gave a damn about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And we saw kind of when even when it came to Aunt Melissa, she seemed to always be trying to drive a narrative of distance about where Sebastian could be. And why, if she was so public on social media and this was her nephew, why wasn't she ever out there searching? I mean, we would have noticed her if she was there with the bright color hair she likes to keep. We would have definitely noticed her. I mean, you don't even have to worry about hunting season when it comes to Aunt Melissa. Her hair is bright enough that you could see it frickin' 2,000 yards away. So you don't even have to worry about wearing a vest or a bright colored shirt. So I don't understand why nobody from Chris's side of the family was ever out there searching for Sebastian. They left that all up to Seth to do and then condemned him for doing it, for wanting to know where his son was. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So let's hear, if you guys don't know, Evil Exists. I love Evil Exists. We agree on some things. Sometimes we don't agree on everything, but I digress. I always like hearing the perspective of Evil Exists.
Would the Bowersox go to in order to help their son, Chris Proudfoot? I've questioned their behavior from the beginning, as they are the step-grandparents of Sebastian Rogers, but not once came out to talk about him. To say how sweet he is, they never even offered a reward for his safe return. It's almost like they don't care. How sad is that? Sebastian is still missing, and there are no confirmed sightings or solid leads in his case, after all this time. I personally don't believe this precious boy walked out of his house and vanished into thin air. I think someone knows exactly what happened to him and where he is. We heard scary stories from Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife Nina. She gave us an idea of what the Proudfoots and Bowersox are really like. Well, this post that Kathy Bowersox put on Facebook actually boiled my blood. She keeps referring to Sebastian as this child. He has a name, and we should all keep saying it. His name is Sebastian, and not this child. It's almost like she cannot even say his name. It really infuriates me. Her post reads, "You are the exact type of people that are keeping this child from being located. You want to spew lies about people to fit your small-minded narrative. If you can provide credible witnesses that claim they saw me at Worshams, then do it. Otherwise, shut up. By the way, for the last time, my location is known and it was not Worshams. If your intent is to actually find this child, please use your efforts in a constructive manner instead of spreading lies." So, what do I see in her post? She can't mention Sebastian's name, and she is getting extremely defensive about anyone that questions her alibi. It's the only time I see her get agitated enough to reply to people on Facebook. She absolutely hates her alibi being questioned. They wanted to find a place for Sebastian to go. Maybe they couldn't wait for him to move in with Seth. Definitely has some motive to help her son, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts down below.
So there you have it. You know, it's just I think everybody is picking up on that. And that is why it is so important to follow the leads and follow the lead directions. We were looking at this case. Let's go through all the stuff we've done on this case. We've looked at the third party. We've looked at the stranger danger. All of those things were eliminated, particularly in that home. They did not let him on the computer. They did not let him use his phone. Where was his phone? His phone was charging on the kitchen counter in the kitchen, not even in an area. Oh, hey, Shay, it's nice to see you. Not even in an area that he could go grab it quickly. It was out of his room and all the way in the kitchen. So the stranger danger and the other third party. Now, if it was a third party, the only third party it could be would be somebody that he knows. And according to everything we've learned about this case, they didn't have friends. They didn't have people that came over to their house. They'd have family visit their house every now and again. They were around family. They didn't take Sebastian out. They didn't take him to friends' houses. They didn't take him out, to this place and that place and this place and that place. They were only around family. They were very, very isolated. Very isolated. So it is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. So where are we? We're at Mike. And we had It's Me Jen with the cuss bucket. We did get to Patty, Melanie, as well as Gypsy. Thank you, ladies, for the cuss jar donations. Oh, Strawberry. We know Strawberry's been part of the family for some time, but I'm glad she was able to make it official. SBED teacher, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the kind words. Sonia says today is Amy M's birthday. We sang happy birthday to Amy M. We congratulated the new people on the gifted memberships. Thank you, Patty. Look at this. Lisa B always getting ready for the cuss bucket, allegedly. Catty G, thank you for becoming the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room. We've got our beautiful Robin. 2 more months. I will be, why no, I can't believe it. I can't believe you've been with me for a year. Good gracious. And she also passed it on, gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Whoever received your Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. The Real Me Too, reminding us Sebastian's Army, our beautiful Lisa B. always saying the feats and socks never point out reward for Sebastian. No, they actually condemn the reward for Sebastian. Narita, thank you for the super sticker and Grave Crime with Grace. Gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Grave Crime with Grace. Thank you, and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room. And TGIF for all those that are here. Thank you for being with me and hanging out with me. And Robin gifted another Bullhorn Betty membership because they like me saying, welcome to the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And don't forget to tell all the people, if you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell them thank you. Don't forget to tell them thank you. They work very, very, very hard. Very hard. So that's kind of our segment on Sebastian Rogers and why we feel so strongly that we feel when it comes to Sebastian's mom and stepdad. Their behavior is off. It's been off from day one. It's been off from day one that we've seen them online. And then you fast forward to today, you know, we've already seen Chris blow up. We already know what his behavior is. We already know what his psychological profile is. We already know that he's very controlling. He has narcissistic tendencies. He was the one, you know, telling Chris and Katie telling Katie and Seth how to raise their son. If he wanted his phone, he's going to come to Chris and talk to Chris before he gets it back. Dude, you're not a parent. You're a step parent telling mom and dad what they can do. I don't understand how people do that. You know, I really don't. And it's just but people allow it to happen. Here, it was allowed to happen. I truly believe this family beat up Katie so much over her disabled son that she got to the point where she resented her son. I truly believe that is the motivation behind all of this. If I had to guess what it is, why we're here, it's resentment. But it was because she was in and around Chris and his family the entire time, and they were constantly making her feel bad about her son. And I think over the 8 years she was with him, I think it just wore on her. I think it got to the point where she looked at her son as the problem in her life, as the problem in her marriage, how unfair it must be for him to live like this. I think all of that's at play here in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. Absolutely. Absolutely do. All right, guys. Well, that is the segment that we have for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And now we're getting to the part where we're going to be going over the missing siblings. The missing siblings out of, let me get my right. Where is it? There it is. There we go. There we go. Okay, got the right one. We've got the missing siblings out of Nova Scotia. This is Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Malehya and her partner Daniel were in the house when they disappeared, and so was their little sister Meadow. It is my understanding that Malehya, as well as Daniel, had a child together, and that child is Meadow. I find it awfully suspect that these two children are the only ones missing from that house. We heard that there was a house party there. I think that's kind of supported a little bit by the most recent statement by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police when they said that they have identified 35 individuals for formal interview. Even though we have not yet eliminated the stranger danger or third party person yet, I do not believe that those two theories are going to hold a whole lot of water based upon the parents' behavior. And we have to remember that not only that, but the parents are exhibiting the red flags. And of course we have statistics. Statistics are bears because we want to believe our heart and not our mind and not reality. And statistics, in my opinion, kind of smack us into reality. And statistics are high for these young children that it was most likely a caregiver that did whatever. That doesn't mean that's always the case. But I find it highly, highly, highly suspect that the mother of these two children, the actual biological parent of these two children, disappeared and has not been back to the property since. I don't care if I was fighting with everybody on that property. You are not keeping me from searching for my kids. Where the hell is Malehya? She is MIA, much like Katie Proudfoot was in the search for her son. But Pat Brown, a well-known profiler, believe it or not, dropped a video yesterday that supported the last 2 days prior of my assessment of this case. So I thought this was interesting. So I'm going to play it for you guys here. today. So we're going to have a discussion. Delilah is a little antsy. I think she wants to say hi to everybody. Come on. There she is. There she is. Or she just wants her mommy's loving. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's not go up the nose. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's stay out of the mouth as well. There we go. Hi. Okay, thank you. I know. I love you too. I love you that much too. Thank you for all the love. Oh, you're not done yet. Okay. Let's get my earphones out of your... She just wants to be on my lap all of a sudden. The last couple days, she's just wanted to be on my lap when I'm doing the show. She doesn't normally get on my lap when I'm doing the show. And I always keep pushing her off the lap, and then she still keeps coming back. All right, let's get Pat Brown up on deck. Let's listen to what Miss Brown has to say.
Being called, some of them have been called conspiracy channels because they're pointing the finger at the mom and the stepdad as having done something to these children. Now, I would like to go through some of the basic points that I see at this point in time may actually support their theories that these children didn't wander off, nor were they kidnapped. So,
the profiles are, we have to consider how fortunate we are to have social media. I mean, it's unfortunate and fortunate, right? It's a double-edged sword. We give up a crap load of our privacy to have these apps, but man, the knowledge, the information, the abilities we have with these apps, look at this. We get a well-known profiler right here on social media that we can go to and listen to them breaking down the case. And why do we go to these profiles? Oh, hey, I see you. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Caroline, it's nice to see you. Jackie Blue, it's nice to see you as well. We get to go over and look at what their assessment of the case is. And she, even though I'm taking a little more cautious strategy, because I do see some problematic areas in this story, predominantly with the house party, the timing of that house party in conjunction when these children disappeared, and of course the parents' behavior after the house party and what day it was. So, because I'm one of the people that believe these children disappeared before they disappeared. Because they didn't go to school on Thursday when they were supposed to be there, and there's no real clear-cut reason for them to be out. A cough just is not a reason to keep kids out of school, but I digress. Even if it is, why didn't Jack go to school is another question I have. So I'm very, very suspicious of this whole Thursday absence because the kids were sick thing. When it comes to this story, which is what's leading me to believe that they may have disappeared before they were actually called in as missing. But again, we have to be cautious because there are potential other third parties in and around these children. We just can't take wild assumptions. But again, we're looking at behaviors as well, and the behavior of the mom is very questionable.
So, first of all, let me read you just the latest information coming out. Police in Canada have announced they are dialing back the search for 2 young children who vanished from their home into the woods of Nova Scotia last week. Okay, I have a problem. Well, this is the Daily Mail, but it's interesting when they say this because there is actually no proof that they disappeared from their home into the woods. There's no proof of that. That's simply bad reporting. What they really should say is a police.
And there is no proof. And there's another case that happened about 3 years prior to, same area, Nova Scotia, and they never found this child. At least I never got to the end of this because it's 44 minutes. I didn't get to the end of it, but I did get the nuts and bolts of it. A grandmother had her grandson. She was putting the dog on the leash. She turns around. He was gone. They end up finding his boots down by, there's like this stream and stuff like that. And it looks like the boots may have been caught up on something, but they've never found this child. And where was I getting at? I hate when my brain just stops like that. But you see, even to this day, the mother's expression, like she is so devastated by this. I mean, you see it all over her face. It's been 3 years, and you see it all over her face, just how devastated she is that she can't find her son. Her son was with her mother. Her mother, like I said, turned around and the boy was gone. They believe that he fell into the creek that washed into the, wherever. But again, I don't think they ever found him. They did find his boots, and it comes down to the articles of clothing. If these children went into the woods, just like Pat Brown had stated, there would be evidence that these children went into the woods, and there's no evidence of it. Just like in this other case, the child's name is, do they have it in here? They didn't put the child's name in the description here for some reason, but it was a 3-year-old out of Nova Scotia, Truro, Nova Scotia, in May of 2020. And again, they found evidence that he walked off. Evidence. In this case here were 2 siblings, one that left with a backpack, been gone for days. That backpack would have been dropped. We know our children. Let's be honest, right? The one thing I couldn't do with the grandkids is every time I turned around, something was missing. They left something at their school. They left something here, left something there. For these 2 children not to leave anything behind. Even the stepfather, Daniel, said that, Jack would most likely take off his diaper, his pull-up by this point. There's no pull-up that's been found. There's no pull-up. 2 weeks today, Lisa B always says. So there's no evidence whatsoever that these children are out there in the woods. So now we have to look at some other things, okay? There's only a few other options available here. And that is stranger danger, a third party, or the mom and the stepdad, or one or the other. Those are the theories that we're dwindling down to. We're not there yet. Now, the parents, again, I'm going to keep saying the parents' behavior I get is very, very sus. I'm not going to deny that it's very, very sus. I'm not going to deny that I'm looking squarely at them, but there are other possibilities at play here that we must resolve before we start really honing in on the parents. That's all I'm saying.
Have scaled back the search of the woods because they haven't found the children, and so much time has gone by. I think they're thinking those children are not in the woods. Jack Sullivan, age 4, and his sister Lily, age 6, were last seen about 10 a.m. on Friday on a road close to their home in the Canadian town of Lansdowne Station. Well, that is completely, I don't even understand that, because they weren't seen on a road as far as I know. The 10 a.m. thing comes from the mom and stepdad, who say that's when they think that the children disappeared, at 10 a.m. on Friday, on a Friday morning. That's very questionable. And I want to point out, it's always questionable when the people saying it are the people that were with them and who might have something to do with what happened to them. The real question is, when did somebody else see them? Now, as far as I know, nobody's seen them at all since Tuesday. That's when the bus driver dropped the kids off at their home.
So we made that assessment too, that these children, haven't been seen by a third party, unless you're talking about the house party. I'm very interested to find out if the house party did in fact happen, and if so, were the children observed by any of the party goers, and if so, what was their condition?
Now, so the Tuesday was the last time somebody else saw them. Then the Wednesday was a holiday, so there was no school, so the kids would be at home. I'm not sure exactly. She's 6, says he's 4. I don't know. I guess maybe he goes to preschool. So anyway, they weren't going to be seen on Wednesday. Well, unless they went someplace. And Thursday, she supposedly had a cough, so they stayed home. I'm not sure why he would stay home. So the last time they were seen was on a Tuesday afternoon when they were dropped off. And since then, as far as I know, unless if you know any differently, put it in the comments below. As far as I know, since Tuesday afternoon, that was the last sighting of the children outside of the claims of the mother and stepdad.
And that is how we understand it as well. Nobody has come forward out of all the interviews and everything else and said that they saw these children on XYZ day. The last time any third party saw these children allegedly was Tuesday afternoon when they were being dropped off at their home from school.
So unless somebody saw them on Wednesday or Thursday, we don't know that they were alive on Wednesday or Thursday. We don't.
Which is another assessment that we made several days ago. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because this is Pat Brown, a well-known profiler. And so it's very important that we always hone our skills. It's very important that we make sure we're picking up on the same things that the professionals are picking up on. And it sounds like we are.
So this is one thing the police will be checking. They'll be checking the phones, the mom and stepdad's phones. They'll be checking, I don't know if there's any cameras in the area where they can see the vehicles going by.
One thing we learned from the dispatch calls is that it doesn't sound like they had an awful lot of good cell phone reception in this area. And the reason why I'm saying that is somebody was talking about geofencing in the chat. Suddenly, Sally, you're asking about why hasn't the brother been questioned? I'm pretty sure that he has been questioned because of the statement, the most recent release from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police that said they've identified 35 individuals for a formal interview that are, very close to these children. And I would think that the brother and the mother of Daniel Martell would be part of that collection of 35 people.
They're going to check all of those things to be sure that these two children didn't come to harm in the home between Tuesday afternoon and Friday morning when the 911 call was made, and were then taken someplace and buried, shall we say, because that's like 60 hours that I don't know if anybody knows where these kids were. And 60 hours is a long time. If something happened to them on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, that's a long time to get rid of bodies.
And we have discussed that too, the amount of time that they had. I think we just had that conversation yesterday or the day before. So what is this telling us? This is only simply telling us that we're analyzing the case properly and appropriately. Okay, that's all that Pat Brown is advising us. It's not stuff she's not telling us anything we haven't discussed here on this channel. But what the reason why I selected that is to let you know that we are analyzing this case right. We are looking at the most appropriate issues with this case. We're staying laser focused to that, but we do have some questions about some other details in and around when these children disappeared. We also have some breakdown of the case file for the missing and endangered Lilly Sullivan and Jack Sullivan. And so just wanted to go over some information that you guys may find useful and informative. So both children lived with their mother, Malehya Brooks-Murray, and the stepfather, Daniel Martell, on 1407 Gearlock Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia, and that is in the country of Canada. 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and 4-year-old brother Jack were reported missing around 10 a.m. on May 2nd from their home on Gearlock Road, Lansdowne Station, approximately 20 kilometers from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. According to their mother, Malehya, she woke up that morning to the sounds of the children playing in the next room. She briefly fell back asleep, but upon waking up again and discovering they were no longer in the house, she immediately called 911. Here's some more details. 6-year-old, we already read that. Playing in the next room, she immediately called 911. Their stepfather, Daniel Martell has been deeply involved in the search efforts. He's described Lilly and Jack as awesome kids, noting Jack's love of bugs and dinosaurs, and how Lilly, while fond of girly things, often followed her brother's lead. They were like best friends, not just like brother and sisters, he said. Malehya Brooks-Murray moved to Daniel's home 2 years ago and is a stay-home mom. Daniel works at a local sawmill, but work has slowed down there in recent weeks, and he was not at work on Friday. Malehya's family members have raised concerns about the possibility of abduction and have urged authorities to expand the search beyond the immediate area to include provincial borders and transportation hubs. Martel also noted that certain items found during the search, such as clothing, water bottle, did not belong to either child. Lilly and Jack are members of the Spiknik, I can't ever pronounce it, First Nation. In response to the case, Chief Michelle Glasgow publicly questioned the decision not to issue an Amber Alert and called for establishing a national alert system tailored to better respond to such emergencies. Now, they're in a whole lot of rough terrain in their area, desolate, lots of shrubberies, trees, foliage, dense foliage. So let's just give you guys a breakdown of the timeline, and then we've got one or two other things to talk about, and then we'll wrap up. So on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, the bus driver dropped them off at their home after school on Tuesday. Wednesday, April 30th, the province had no school on Wednesday during National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. This was a culturally significant day for the entire country and observed across all schools and public institutions in Nova Scotia. On Friday, May 2nd, at 10 a.m., both the siblings were reported missing from the rural home in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. The children were last seen playing in the yard. Mom's statements, they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we know, it was quiet. At 11 a.m., following their disappearance, a vulnerable missing person advisory was issued in Pictou County. Pictou County District RCMP is seeking public assistance in locating the siblings. They were last seen on May 2nd. Lilly has shoulder-length brown hair with bangs and wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Jack, who has short blondish hair and was last seen wearing blue dinosaur boots. Further clothing details were unavailable. At 4:55, an official update had come out on May 2nd, and it was just going over the information that they had for the kids. We have the dispatch calls and the dispatch call logs. The emergency alert had been issued in Pictou and Tognish and Colchester counties. May 4th, Daniel Martell shared the following account with news outlets about Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Early morning, Martell said Lilly came into the room multiple times while Jack was likely playing in the kitchen. Shortly after, he believes the children quietly opened the back sliding door and went outside. Their boots were found beside the door. Were found beside the door. Martell assumes that they exited through the back fence and left the property. Upon realizing they were gone, he said he immediately got in his car and searched nearby dirt roads, culverts, rivers, and streams. Approximately 10 minutes later, Martell returned home and resumed the search on foot. We had aerial and tech. They ended up scaling back the search and letting us know that they believe the young children are deceased, and now they're in the investigative aspect of this case, which is not a very good thing, because when we get to this point in the case, it typically means that it typically means that statistics are going to be in play here, which means that law enforcement is most likely looking at the parents or somebody in their inner circle at this point. So I do appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with me this morning. I know that this live was a little bit longer than we typically do our lives. But I wanted to go over Becky Hill. I wanted to go over Sebastian Rogers because we haven't talked about him too much. And I wanted to make sure that we had some thorough coverage of the siblings in Nova Scotia. So if you guys found some interest in this and learned something, please don't forget to like this video. If you're on the replay crew, please like this video. If you found something interesting, please clip it and pass it on. Pass my name around. Let's bring attention to these cases, all these cases that we cover here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, and let's keep all the victims in our thoughts and prayers. So thank you all. Have a great Friday. I've got things to do. I've got paperwork to submit to the courts. So I'm going to be busy the rest of the day, but if we do have time later this afternoon, we will be getting back. We've got to get back on schedule after this little bit of stuff is done. We will be back on schedule on both channels. If you guys have not been over to Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories, please get over there, because at some point I'm going to have to split these cases up. I can't run all of these cases on this channel. So we may have to run one case on our main channel and the second case on our Crime Stories channel. So that's kind of going to be how I'm going to be playing this. And we also have an upcoming trial coming very, very soon, and it's the Crystal Rogers trial. We've been waiting for this day since the July 4th weekend of 2015. It is now being realized. Brooks Houck, as well as his two employees, are going to be going to trial for the death of Crystal Rogers. This is going to be a hearing that's not going to be recorded. The judge has recently did an order that no cameras are allowed in the courtroom. No electronics are allowed in the courtroom. So the only way we're going to be able to get any details of what's going on in the Crystal Rogers case is if we're there, taking note of what's going on inside those proceedings. I hear that there may be days that we're not going to be able to get into the proceedings. So I've got to call down to the courthouse and find out what the rules and stuff will be related to the Crystal Rogers case, and find out if it's going to be too much for me to be able to deal with. If it's not, and we can get out there and get some information and report back on the Crystal Rogers case, we will. So that's kind of where we are. So guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless. We'll see you soon. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We've brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.